Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. Uh, Today is our coffee and conversation hour. And as always, on Tuesday, we try to bring you some very informative information dealing with addiction or the aspect of prevention or some type of aftercare, whether it be addiction or whether it be uh, mental health. However, we always try to bring you some very informative information. So, yeah, my name is Craig, and we're going to get right into it. No delays today. This article that I'm going to bring before you is 7summitpathways.com. You can go online, the number 7summitpathways.com. So here we go. Today we're going to talk about 6 ways your environment impacts your recovery. Okay. The article begins by saying environmental influences is something most people understand on a fundamental level. A host of variables in a person's environment affect personality, attitudes, and habits. 3 aspects, right? Personality, attitude, and habit. So it makes sense that environment shapes a person's relationship to drugs and alcohol. The article goes on to say research shows that developing an addiction is about 50% genetic and 50% environmental. All right. And say, what roles does your environment play in recovery? Question. Question mark. It says the people, dynamics, and physical surrounding a person's lives with a person lives with can help or hinder the ability to successfully maintain sobriety. Surrounding person. Here are 6 of the most significant environmental factors to consider. We're going to talk about 6 ways your environment can impact your recovery. Number 1, unresolved childhood stress forms addictive behavior. Unresolved childhood stress forms addictive behavior. Childhood trauma is one of the leading environmental causes of addiction. Mental health experts refer to traumatic events including abuse, neglect, and household dysfunction as adverse childhood experiences, better known as ACEs. Okay? When these experiences build up over time, they have a profound impact on a child's neurodevelopment. ACEs disrupt typical development of areas in the brain that allow a child to cope with disruptions and negative emotions. As a result of their delayed or stunted emotional development, children develop a variety of unhealthy coping mechanisms, including drug and alcohol use. These facts from multiple studies on ACEs stand for Adverse Childhood Experiences, and addiction show the scope of this environmental influence. Hey, what's going on? Giovanni? Yeah, so we're talking about 6 ways your environment impacts your recovery. We're on number 1, and I'm all the way down where it says the bullet. It says children who suffer ACEs. You see that at the bottom? Children who suffer ACEs. All the way at the bottom.
Okay, fine.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right. It says children who suffer ACEs typically begin drinking earlier than their peers, making the usual underage drinking prevention program less effective for this group. ACEs also link with developing mental health disorders and addiction later in life at ages 50 and up. Wow. Wow, that is high. So one study indicated that for each additional ACE, the number of prescription drugs the study subjects use increased by 62%. A different study showed that for each additional ACE, the likelihood of early initiation to illicit drug use increased twofold to fourfold. While you can't change the environment you grew up in, it's crucial to find a recovery environment where you feel comfortable addressing the trauma that underpins your addiction. So a lot of people who are disenfranchised or those who has low financial barriers in their life or high financial barriers, we are oftentimes, once we come out of residential treatment, we come back to our same environment because we don't have the leisure or the financial flexibility to just pick up and move. However, even in our old settings where we grew up in, we can make that environment safe and healthy by choosing the right environment that we want to live in. And I know that can be hard, it can be challenging. I get the whole fact, but a lot of times we forget about all the positive people in our neighborhood, in our community, that don't drink alcohol, that don't do drugs. And so there are a host of law-abiding people in our communities that we may overlook and we may not tap into them because we're so used to tapping into the other group of people. And so therefore we need to utilize our resources that's available in our community. And that is people who get up 9 to 5, go to work, who do volunteer work, who go to church, whatever, some type of religious service, whatever they're into, and tap into those people. Because the article says, while you can't change the environment you grew up in, it's crucial to find a recovery environment where you feel comfortable addressing the trauma that underpins your action. And also, don't forget, seek professional advice. That means setting aside time for yourself to reflect on and process your feelings in a place where you feel safe. Sometimes the home environment is not conducive to personal reflection or work on therapy homework, and you will need to alter your surroundings to best tackle your feelings. For example, if the people you live with are noisy, you may want to minimize the impact by investing in noise canceling headphones. Or what I used to do, even though my home wasn't noisy, when I was going to school, I would go to the library, and I'm up in age, but I thought it was really helpful for me to, number one, apply for a library card. And that's what I did. I applied for a library card, and anytime that I need to do some study, they have quiet rooms in the library, quiet locations. 9 of the time, library is a great place to study. All right. And so that's one advice I want to give. We're gonna go to number 2. How you feeling today? Oh, you sound like you got a cold. You coming down with a cold? Oh, you good?
Yeah.
You feel like reading? All right, we're on number 2 then. I'll leave it up to you.
Okay, number 2. Family dynamics can intensify stress. Unfortunately, family relationships can be a significant source of stress for many individuals. In the process of developing a substance use disorder, family ties tend to become extremely strained. As the addiction worsens, the person will shift the focus to drugs or alcohol over maintaining positive relationships, often cutting ties to allow continue drug and alcohol use. In some cases, the addicted person will take extremely harmful actions such as causing big fights or stealing. Once in recovery, the way family interacts with the individual may create a very stressful dynamic. For example, attending a family gathering might involve getting pestered with questions about treatment and the state of recovery, which can get uncomfortable very quickly. Spending time in a judgmental environment can erode mental health and make sobriety more challenging to maintain.
Mhm. Good.
On the other hand, a positive and supportive family environment can be a significant asset. When being in the presence of family provides comfort, that space can give foster a greater sense of accountability and strengthen the resolve to stay sober. Not every family relationship is repairable, but family therapy is an excellent place to start when possible.
Man, that's some good read, Giovanni. Huh?
Thanks.
I hear you.
Awesome, thanks.
Oh, you're welcome, man. I was just sitting as you was reading, I was like, wow, you're a young person. Not to take anything from young people, but a lot of times young people they have a tendency, not all the time, they don't want, they might not feel comfortable reading out loud, or they might don't feel comfortable sharing. But to hear you, I'm older than you,
Yeah.
but about a lot of years, about a few decades, I believe, or more. But anyway, yeah, but that was some great reading, man. I appreciate you sharing.
Yeah.
I appreciate. All right, and so we're gonna move on to number 3, and that is social environments may facilitate relapse. This is so true. This is some good stuff. All right, let's do a recap. We did number 1. We're talking about 6 ways your environment impacts your recovery. Number 1, we talked about unresolved childhood stress, form addictive behaviors. I read that. Number 2, Giovanni read family dynamics can intensify stress. I'm pronouncing your name right?
Yes.
Okay, cool. All right. Number 3, I'm going to read this one. We're on number 3. Social environments may facilitate relapse. The article says humans are social beings by nature, but that nature is one of the leading environmental causes of addiction. Most people, hi.
Hi,
How are you?
good, how are you?
All right, you can have a seat, and we're on number 3. That is, and your name is, young lady?
Christina?
Christina.
Mhm.
All right, my name is Craig. I'll let him introduce his name.
And my name is Giovanni.
Giovanni. And so we're on number 3. We're talking about 6 ways your environment impacts your recovery. And so I'm gonna read. I'll start from the top. It says social environments may facilitate relapse. Humans are social beings by nature, but that nature is one of the leading environmental causes of addiction. Most people don't walk up to a stranger and ask to try a drug for the first time. In the majority of cases, the person's social environment facilitates their first instance of substance abuse. And I know when I first started using drugs, I didn't walk up. I seen older people doing it, and so in my community or my neighborhood, so I said, you know what? Let me try it and see what it's like. I tried it and I started getting googly, like the young people, experimenting drugs, marijuana, alcohol, and I kept doing it. So the article is 100% right when it comes to social environment may facilitate relapse. Okay. And so now when it talks about relapse, I can share that part of my experience is that I didn't have the courage to say no. I thought I would look at, oh, you ain't cool no more. You're a cornball. You don't want to hang out with us. You think you're better than. And so when I tried to stop on my own, then somebody, one of my friends or buddies, associates, whatever, came and presented something in front of me. I didn't have the willpower, more or less the coping skills. And so once I went to rehab, then I began to learn some coping skills. Then after a while, I said, you know what, I'm tired of this. I'm getting old. I'm about, I'm old. I'm getting old. So I don't need to be messing around. Y'all get the point, I hope. All right. So it says, in the majority of cases, the person's social environment facilitates their first instance of substance abuse. When someone is in a location with peers who are drinking or doing drugs, that activity automatically becomes more acceptable. This perspective shift can cause people to try substances they wouldn't in other social settings. Likewise, a dangerous social environment and recovery can trigger irrational thoughts like, I'll just have one drink or one drug, or I'll just have enough to take the edge off. If you can avoid these circumstances altogether, you can eliminate a whole subset of triggers. Some ways you can strengthen your recovery by changing your social environment include avoiding locations like bars or parties where you know there are going to be drugs or alcohol. I had to tell myself after I came out of treatment, I said, you know what? I'm not going to go to bars because even if I go to bars just to sit around and talk, I know something may happen. It may be somebody drinking, somebody might be drugging, there might be a dice game, there might be a fight, I might get in, it's a whole host of factors can come out of just being in the wrong place at the wrong time, right? Building a strategy for firmly saying no if offered a substance, reducing or eliminating time spent with friends who drink or use. In addition to reducing your exposure to triggering social environments, you should work to add social support through recovery groups like Capital Recovery Center, right? Many such groups offer activities that can help you replace happy hours at the bar or weekends spent using healthy, sober fun. All right? And so we're going to go right along to number 4. Christina.
Yeah.
Can I call up? Do you feel like reading?
That's fine.
All right, we're on number 4. I'll get to you then.
Okay, it says work environments can trigger relapse behaviors. It's no secret that Americans get stressed at work. According to the American Institute of Stress, 80% of workers experience stress at work, and 40% of workers feel their job is very or extremely stressful. Not everyone knows how to handle it either, as almost half of workers report needing help learning to manage their stress. Because stress is often one of the most powerful triggers a person can have. The wrong work environment can make it hard to stay sober. Some work environments are more conducive to drug and alcohol use. For example, data from the most recent national survey on drug use and health indicated that mining industry workers had a past month heavy alcohol use rate of 17.5% compared to the average of 8.7% for all industries. Meanwhile, 19.1% of accommodations and food service workers use illicit drugs compared to the average of 8.6%. It can be difficult to function socially in a work environment where drug and alcohol use is prevalent, making it more challenging to succeed at both work and recovery. Not everyone can suddenly switch jobs or career tracks to minimize the risk of having multiple coworkers who drink heavily or use drugs. However, being aware of the rates of the drug use in your specific industry can help you stay on your guard and make better decisions if you have any triggering experiences with colleagues.
Oh, that's wonderful. And like I was telling Giovanni that he's a good reader. You are a good reader as well. And I'm like blown away to hear y'all just so fluently and so, intelligent in y'all reading. So thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
And so, we was talking about being around coworkers at work can be triggers. It can cause a lot of harm. I know one thing, when I was working in the warehouse industry, they will always show us an OSHA video because the heavy equipment is being utilized throughout the warehouse. And so they used to tell us about safety, about being aware, being alert. And so if someone is using drugs or alcohol and they fall asleep, it can cause a lot of damage. And then a lot of times, I used to work places where on lunch break, guys would say, oh, let's go and get a drink, or after work. And so being that we are in recovery, we got to be mindful of our surroundings, and so that's very key. And so handle conflict calmly and professionally. If you do end up stuck with co-workers you can't get along with or who intentionally try to derail your recovery, remaining calm and behaving professionally is the best thing you can do to keep your environment civil. It's okay to walk away from situations until you can put some of your coping skills to use and calm down. They're going to be confrontation. A lot of times we have to learn how to deal with, especially if you're a person who has anger issues. Now, on top of substance use issues, we have to learn how to deal with people who are confrontational. And sometimes we might don't be the ones who initiate the confrontation. People may just rub us the wrong way or say the wrong things. And like the article says, it's okay to walk away until you're able to calm yourself down and say, you know what, how should I handle this? Or, in an appropriate way so that I don't get jammed up. And so now it can trigger you to say, you know what, this guy stressed me out. This person, you know what, this manager got on my nerves today. I've been standing on my feet 15 hours. I've been working hard. And I don't get that much money. And now that's where the justification come in. Let me treat myself. But there's many other ways, and that's what it says, coping skills. What can I do different than I used to do, just to have fun or to say to treat myself? Well, go out to dinner, buy you a nice dinner, take your loved one with you, or go buy you and I know most females, they like to shop. Go buy you a nice outfit, or something like that. Whatever, motivates you to stay on the right track. It said, turn your focus inward and see if there's anything you can do to prevent conflict and consider other perspectives to understand the situation more fully. Have accountability partner. Talk to someone. Don't hold it in. Number 5, we want to talk about, let me see. Giovanni, can I count on you? You read that?
Yeah, that's fine, man.
Okay, cool.
Number 5, digital environments can distract from recovery. Social media is a powerful tool that has a litany of benefits, as well as many pitfalls to avoid. The primary issue with social media in the context of recovery is that people tend to only share the best parts of their life. Imagine image-based platforms like Instagram and Snapchat are particularly misleading as users carefully choose nearly every photo they post to project a level of happiness and perfection that isn't realistic most of the time. Spending too much time with social media and taking it at face value can quickly lead to lowered self-esteem and feelings of shame as you compare yourself to others. On the other hand, using social media judicially to do things like network with other sober people, share success, and coordinate group activities is a smart use of your digital environment.
Man, I'm from the old school, but I use social media. I'm hip. I'm cool. I know a little thing about social media, but like the article says, it gives you a false sense of reality sometimes. A lot of times, you see people. We out to dinner, we out on, we vacation. But when you come back from vacation, it's okay to go to vacation. But when you come back, what's the real life is like? Now you got to deal back reality, you don't sit back and, I have to hustle and bustle, so I got to get more money, replace the money that I just spent. So I got to keep my job, I got to make sure. And so, am I really, sending out the right messages? And so it also says we can utilize social media to hook up with other people, that's in recovery. So that's good. Thank you. Thank you, Giovanni. Number 6, and we're going to close it with number 6, and that is physical environments can affect mental health. Physical environments can affect, not effect, affect mental health. So the article says the impact of your physical environment on your mental health and become a source of addiction triggers. There are multiple ways your environment influence addiction, and untidy surroundings is a major one. Living in a home where there are dirty dishes all over the counter and laundry on the floor causes mental clutter and can make it hard to think through cravings. On the other hand, an excessively bare environment with no personal touches make it hard to connect with your space and feel safe there, right? Lighting is another element with a robust impact on mood as well as learning. If you're spending your mornings with the curtains closed, you're losing out on a chance to boost your mood for the day and increase your capacity to retain new information. That is some really, really good stuff right there. Clutter can be a hinder for one to stay focused. It says being in a room that is not welcoming or comfortable, where things are bare, it can make one feel not connected with reality, And so you're just living in just this empty space. So lighting, that's so great. It can change your moods, right? The article says, open up a curtain early in the morning. I don't know about y'all, but when I open up the curtain and it's bright outside, my mood automatically just lights up. But if it's raining, oh man, I might be feeling some type of way. Stock in the kitchen. All right, it says, when it comes to specific areas of the home, the kitchen is a central focus area. It should go without saying that you should stock your kitchen with healthy food, but people beginning recovery often take a while to get their nutrition rhythm going effectively. Making sure you have enough grocery to cover simple meals and quick snacks is a good way to avoid hunger being a relapse trigger. People struggling with addiction overwhelmingly have nutrient deficiencies that hinder recovery. So creating an environment where feeding yourself doesn't feel like a chore can significantly aid to your recovery. All right. And so optimizing your bedroom, getting enough sleep can be challenging at the best of times. If you find yourself tossing and turning or having difficulty falling asleep, changing your sleep environment can help as well. Ensuring your room is free of clutter and keep devices that emit blue light off or out of the room are 2 essential steps to take. All right, on that note, we're going to end. And so I'm glad both of y'all came. We don't want to bore you. I'm saying overboard, right? So we don't, yeah, that's right, that's true. We don't want to bore you or we don't want to overwhelm you. But the thing is, at least we're learning something or getting some information. And if it don't sink in now, you never know. It could be sitting subconsciously. When you do need it, you say, you know what? I remember reading somewhere it says, physical environment, or being around certain people, or being on a job where things can be confrontational. How can I handle it? Or should I just walk away, or do I should confine somebody? These are things that, life lessons that we're gonna all face. I don't have it all together just because I'm sitting here in this black chair looking like I'm somebody important. but you know, I'm still working on my recovery as well every day because I think it's important because I want to have something in life and I want to be help to somebody. And so I know you two people. I know y'all must be some, I don't know you personally, but I know y'all must be some great people because y'all took the time to learn how to read and comprehend. So y'all was paying attention when y'all were in school. And so that is so wonderful to know. All right. On that note, until the next time, everybody stay safe and see you next week. Yeah. So we'll close that out.